All right, so I have put a link into the description for a discount code for these guys' official site, but PartsAm. You can get these on Amazon or you can get them on their official site. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these installed because these are Switchback LEDs. They are white and then they turn, you know, amber when you turn them. So it's going to take me 5 minutes to install these things. We probably won't have the Switchback feature today because I need to install this, but I at least want to get the lights in so I can throw the old bulbs out and just like forget about it. And then LED bulbs, just try them out and see. These are what you will get out of the box, out of the packaging. Just open a door here. So, like I said, white and amber you can see on there. I will show you. These things are pretty sweet. Also, temporarily threw that in there to hold that wire on for the horn. If you guys want to hear the horn. It's obnoxiously loud. Sounds like a very aggressive clown horn. But, again, there's a little kink in that hose. I feel like that'll make a difference. And we're also going to upgrade the power wire. Friday, the distribution blocks will be in. So all of this that I've made nice will eventually get put into a distribution block. So these are the old headlights. You can see. I actually don't know what the deal is with these headlights, to be honest. Because, yes, that's a halogen, but there's a second bulb there. So I have no idea which one we're even replacing. All right, so there is the Switchback. Now, I am curious because I don't have the resistor put in yet. Yeah, okay, cool. So it's just gonna blink fast is all. Oh, sick, I don't even have to put the resistor in. I'm not even worried about it. It just blinked fast. Okay, cool. There you go. That's one installed. Now I gotta figure out this contraption here. I don't know, I have no idea. That's the high beam, so oh man, I don't know. That's an adapter harness. Oh boy. So this is very unfortunate. These are a really good set of LED lights, and apparently these aftermarket headlights use whatever this bulb is, so I need to figure it out. So I'll figure that out, but I'm still going to showcase these Switchbacks and show you guys, because apparently I'm going to have to get 2 separate bulbs, and I got to get the part numbers off of them so that I can order the correct bulbs or let them know, because these are would have been a pretty sweet product, and they're super affordable too. All right, so I got the bulb number. There's what it looks like now compared to what it looked like before. Yeah, that's gonna look pretty sweet. The high beam LED headlight, I don't know what to do about that, but whatever. I probably won't dick with that, to be honest. I'm just gonna leave the white cab lights, as you can see, and then once we wire this up, so everything will be white minus that little corner marker. So I didn't even need to take the headlight out to get that one. I was able to reach right back in there. Probably could have done the same thing over here. Actually, I definitely could have done the same thing over here, but let's get the fog lights on. Close the hood. That looks nice. I like it. And you don't even see the orange. I like it a lot. Now let's use the 4-ways. Look at that. Oh, that is awesome. I don't know if I'm gonna drive around with my headlights on anymore. I'm just gonna leave them off until the new stuff comes in. Let's run everything. Let's see what everything looks like. See, oh, that sucks. You see the little halogens. That sucks. Oh well, there you go. There's your video on that. Let me know what you think of the horn. Let me know if I got you enough sound clips on that, because like in the truck it doesn't sound that aggressive. But then when you're actually like outside of it, it's pretty loud. So now on with the rest of the video. I put this in the beginning of the video because they sent me this stuff and I feel like they deserve the recognition for sending that. So I'm gonna do that. Now we'll get into the rest of the video. There's the high beams, by the way. Yeah, that's sick. Not driving with headlights on anymore. For anybody wondering what they look like at night, that's with no headlights on. Alright, we are here to grab the head. That's coming today. Man, nothing beats the look of these crew cab long beds, except maybe a mega cab long bed. We were gonna set this one right in here, but like I said, I think a mega cab long bed would beat the look, but I don't know, practicality wise, gotta have that. A wrapped up 20 or 12 valve head. She's got some weight to her, but looks good. Cardboard on the bottom. So now we go to the PO box. Guys, if you want to see me put some parts on this truck, send me some to the PO box and we'll test it. Unless it's things like those mirror lights, because like those are such a pain to install. Good news, you guys already saw it. We have the head is back. So we're gonna throw this thing back together. Now, I know I said it in, I don't know if it was last video or the video before, but now that we actually have the truck here, I can explain this to you guys. You guys are wondering. I had a few people try to call me out and say, oh, it was my fault that this blew. And I want to show you guys something, right? 100% it's Josh's fault. And anybody smart enough or with a brain will realize, even the machine shop said it was Josh's fault. Now, why? So you guys see these rocker pedestals. Josh wanted to switch these because he had a set of ones that were not milled, okay? So we were going to put some milled ones. So he didn't 100% want to pay me to do it. He's like, you know, he knows how to do it, so not a big deal. So he goes over there and takes off every nut off of the top of these things. Mind you, that's a head stud. That's a hold down. Like, that's part of what holds the head down. This is the entire driver's side. He loosened and took off every single one of them. And then on the sixth one was like, oh shit, what did I do? Because he knows better. He knows not to do it. But he ended up doing it anyway, not thinking. And unfortunately, it warped the absolute shit out of that head. Like 6 thousandths. They said they don't see them that high. I don't think I've ever seen one that high. Maybe a couple thou, but 6 thousandths out. So what they did was they took, okay, I'll show you the head over here, all nice and wrapped. I left my wrench there. Whoopsies. But the head nice and wrapped here. I wonder if I can show you. The rocker pedestal goes through this head stud hole. This stud is what keeps the driver's side of the head down. There's a stud, and then there's one more on the front. Right there's a stud. So, no, that's not a stud. No, I'm not sure. You guys get the point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He took this whole left side off. So fun. It's just, you know, all in the name of learning, I guess. He found out real quick. So this thing's all good. It's been machined all back correctly. We're gonna get her slammed on there. Now, I don't know if we're gonna be pulling this out today because it is supposed to snow later. He does not want this thing getting salt. So before he takes it as well, gonna have to do a valve adjustment, obviously. And we're also going to have to mess with this radiator, which I might end up just letting him drive it for now, and then I'm gonna just run water in it. But this thing's also, because it is wintertime, it's gonna have to stay plugged in. So we're gonna have to do a couple of flushes on this system. Here is the head. We have most of it all assembled right here. I do need to get the intake plenum back on, which is sitting somewhere over in here. And we do need to get the other hook on here with the thermostat housing and all this. I'm trying to debate on whether or not I'm going to put this thermostat in right now. Probably not going to, because if I put it in, it's going to be hard to get all of the oil and all the other stuff out of the engine. So we're going to get this as assembled as possible. That makes sense. We're not going to throw the injectors in it or anything like that, but we are going to start getting it thrown. So we got this all assembled. Like I said, I left this out because we're going to be doing some stuff to that. I am working on getting this sensor out. I had to double wrench that to get that sensor to finally turn, and it's still fighting me. Somebody really stuffed that in there, so I'm trying to get that out because I want to clean this plate up. We're not going to be throwing Josh's truck together like shittily. His truck really kind of pisses me off, pardon my French, because like things just annoy me, and I've gone through and done things to this thing, but I think we're gonna go through and touch up some of the little things and make a couple brackets, unplug some stuff, move some stuff around, maybe loom some of the wiring in here. I don't like the way Josh's truck really turns out. Like stuff like this, you know, we can loom all this and just make it look pretty while we're throwing it back together. Things like I know there was some broken stuff, like this had a broken thing on it. So we're just gonna go through, touch everything up, move some stuff. I don't like that he threw this underneath here and certain little things here and there. So gonna do what I can, and then we can prep the surface, throw the head back on. Just little extra things. We're trying to work on making things as cleanliness as possible, and we're trying to be, you know, as perfectionist as possible. Little things bug me, and it always has. And before, I never really had the money, so I was always just kind of like, throw it together and whatnot. But now that, you know, we got a little bit sitting aside, it's kind of nice to just take that extra and go that little extra mile on some of this stuff. Like I said, I have been reading some of your guys' comments on it as well, so you guys pick up on little things that I usually don't, and it makes it a lot easier because I can see somebody else's perspective. So I'm going to get this whole thing cleaned off nice. We have the little brush there, and unfortunately this needs to come off. The grid heater is not separate. By the way, if you guys want to delete your grid heaters and get rid of the relays, the problem is you cannot get rid of the relays. I have a fix to get the check engine light off if you guys end up deleting the grid heater relays, which on Josh's truck I am not 100% sure where they are. They're not over here. But if you do want to delete them and get rid of the check engine light, you can leave the check engine light, or the you can leave the relays there, but the computer's still going to shut the alternator off and on for 3 minutes. So if you guys do want to get rid of that and get rid of that function completely, let me know, and that's something that we can work around. We are going to be doing that on that 06 truck coming. So Josh is a big fan of that patina look, so I went through, got rid of everything that I pretty much could, and then, you know, I've run it through with this guy here, everything without like getting like a super big stripper on here. But I got the whole thing pretty much cleaned and patinaed a little bit. We used a little bit of brake clean and a little bit of Scotch pad, you know, that way all the loose little flakes that are gonna come off are already there. So now it just has that old style look. We're gonna get this thing back in and slam her back on, and then this is ready to go in. But we will wait. We got to prep that surface. She is all assembled. Like I said, just got that all done. I did a bunch of this. So we're going to get this thing slapped back on now. I also started working a little bit on the intake horn, letting that soak a little bit in some brake clean. But we're going to get that perfect. Well, not perfect, but, you know, patinaed a little bit better for Josh. So trying to get this thing. A lot of the oil that was on it as well was one of the main goals of getting this thing off. Like, this thing was just coated in oil, this was coated in oil, so we're trying to do away with a lot of that. We have the head back on. It is back to installed. Now here's what I was talking about. You guys can see like harnesses run like right in the front, and then your crank sensor is supposed to mount to that. That's broken, and that's just kind of how it is. I mean, we're going to try to tidy up some of this as best I can. A lot of this stuff, we're going to try to get it nice and good as best as possible. And see, we got all the fittings in. This looks a lot nicer than it did. Unfortunately, it's one of those things, unless we were to like clean it up and paint it, but he does like that patina look, so we're gonna go with that. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna sit here and like pressure wash the whole engine bay and do this and that. If it was summertime, you know, maybe. We do have plans in the future of opening up a second location down in hopefully northern Florida, if all goes well with the shop that we're going for now. If we're going to give it till about March 15th, and if they do not get back to us and they don't, like, you know, the eviction's not done, we are going to start looking for a new shop. It's just frustrating what we're ended up dealing with, because it's like a lot of this stuff, I mean, on warmer days I'll bring trucks home to work on them, especially if it's easier stuff. The less I have to use the shop, the better, just because of the overhead per day. The whole plan here is once we get into that new location, we're going to be hiring a couple of mechanics down the road. I want to expand. I really, really want to expand and get rid of the old no overhead lifestyle, and we need to just start going all in full bore. A couple more third gen trucks, maybe towing. Like, I want to go into this like as hard as possible. You guys will be here along for the ride. You can see that's broken as well. That's supposed to go to that guy right there. So what we're going to do is cut up off a lot of that stuff, and then we're just going to cable tie everything where it's supposed to go, because then at least if something happens, a cable tie is easier to replace than these specifics. So like I said, there's the details with that. Let's start throwing some head studs in. I just remade the harness for the fuel pressure sensor, which, bastard, get in there. It wants to fight me. But just remade that harness, and then this one's also for the boost. So one nice harness coming out of there. We're gonna find out where we need to put it, and then that's one harness done. We still got to do the EGT gauge and some of the other stuff that I put in previously. Josh likes, like, I don't even know. No idea. Oh, there's a good heater relay. Yeah, right down there. Huh, shitty place for it, whatever. So here's where we are at. I got all of this stuff in here. These are all cranked all the way down and then loosened a full turn. Well, a half a turn, I mean. So they're not bottomed out. And when you guys are putting these push rods in, you really need to be careful, because it's super easy just to throw it in there and it not hit its mark, and you're crooked. Oh yeah, it's good. And then you bend one. So you need to make sure, there you go. And then pull up on it. You should feel a little resistance on the pull up. So just super careful with that. And then when you put these on, just like that, make sure they're actually in the hole they're supposed to be. See right there, you can see that one's not all the way seated, because see that? You have to be really careful. So I'm sure a few of these are not all the way seated because the valve adjustment is incorrect and the head is not actually torqued down yet. Super careful with that. As you're torquing the head down and you're crushing it, you need to be super careful. Make sure that we're all in there. Yeah, they're all good, but this one right here, make sure when you start torquing it. All right, this is how far we have gotten so far. We're about to put the injectors back in, all of the lines, so we got to do these yet, and then we can throw the intake horn on. The wiring is all done, and that's how she looks. Multiple different sets of washers. We're gonna go with the intermediate one. These are huge, these are pretty small, and then actually these are even smaller. So actually those aren't even for this, but yeah, so we're gonna go with the intermediates on all 6 of these. So here's where I'm at with this whole ordeal, is that I made a bracket for now. I gotta tighten it all the way, but I made a bracket just for now to see if this would work, and then we'll probably make something down in the future. This was just something I had laying around to see if it would work, but I was tired of this just kind of sitting there. It was hitting the EGT probe, and just all in all wasn't looking all that great. So we got that taken care of, and everything's all together. I'm gonna have Josh help me with the valve adjustment tomorrow, and we'll finish up putting this turbo on now, and then that's gonna call it. Josh had to get a replacement wastegate, and for some reason it actually was too long, so I had to put little bit spacers in there. I just took them out of the kit because we weren't going to use those. So this is where we're at. I know how you guys love these little updates. We got the drain on. I got these bolts loosely in here. I got to do the other side yet, and then we're going to RTV around here, because that's what Power Driven Diesel said to do, because this thing was leaking out the back a ton. So we're going to do that, throw the inlet on, and let it dry overnight. I got all the bolts tight, even the one way back in there that you can't reach. I got them all tight. So let me know, guys, what you think I could be doing better. I don't know. There's some constructive criticism out there. Obviously, this engine bay would do well with a good pressure washing. We're going to come back tomorrow. We just got to throw the intake on, the exhaust on, and a valve adjustment, and then boom, she's good to go. Josh wants to do a quick transmission fluid flush. This bracket, if Josh lets me, we'll make a nicer one down the road. I just needed something temporary because I was tired of these just going wherever they wanted to. So that needs to go. This, I know I keep saying it. Guys, we have a mega cab coming. It's a parts truck. It's coming, a G56. I got injectors. It's got 60-some thousand miles on it. I'm just waiting on my transport guy. Waiting on him to go grab it. And it's one of those things, people are busy. You know, they got other stuff going on. So just be patient with that. That is the last 2 things that this thing physically needs to just be a good, reliable running truck, is injectors and a trans. All this stuff, I got, you know, some of the things wire loomed and whatnot. I got this right here. cable tied. I know that could be done better down the road, but for now, this is what we got. I used to like to run my power wire up on there. Little things here and there. So pretty much everything is good. The wiring that I did before for Josh's stuff, now it's loomed and in a harness, so it doesn't look like there's random wires coming through here. Let's get to the P.O. box. I got some LED switchbacks for the turn signal and for the headlights. So let's go get those installed. If this video is too long, we're going to do them in the next video, but I'm going to go get them installed. Real quick, I'm going to show you why that comment was relevant. My dad said, hey, your truck's leaking oil on the ground. And I said, no, that's tranny fluid. And he said, it's brown. And I said, yep, it is. Torque converter's leaking. So that's the only leak my truck has at this point, is literally the torque converter. For anybody wondering what they look like at night, that's with no headlights on.